Back to the Microgreen Thumbcast. Today in episode 22, we'll do a deep dive into the power and importance of having long-term vision for your microgreen business. So, if you guys want to, in the comment section, let me know, have you had any challenges or changes with your goals in your business as we start talking about these goals? And then we'll get to your answers as we go along, your questions as we go along and answer them. So let's begin by understanding why long-term goals are so critical. They're just not targets. They're guiding stars for your business journey, strategic directions, having a vision for your business, and leading supplier in the 100-mile radius is our goal, is leading supplier in 100-mile radius within the next 5 years. We set a clear strategic direction, but it does not have to be a 5-year goal. Building a microgreen business as a side income can be, hey, I want to make $10,000 per year. It's about defining success on your terms, not anybody else's. For us and our microgreen farm, the goal is to increase our reach and build up to a regionally known brand in 5 years. Our lease is up then. So at that point, our goal is to be in the process of building a new, larger facility, able to grow enough food to supply a 200-mile radius. Andy, do you mind sharing one of your long-term goals and vision for Fresh Source Farms?
Yeah, it actually is very similar because we're gonna be in a 5-year lease as well, starting here once we eventually get into our new space. So once that's accomplished, that's our plan. Is we're going to start to tackle some of the bigger distributors around us, get our GAP certification finalized and over with, and then that way we can kind of tackle whoever we need to go after. I mean, with having Philly, Baltimore, DC, New York City, all within a 2.5-hour drive. We got a lot of places to play with. So yeah, we're trying to start locally, like Philly or south or Baltimore or north or just north of DC, and kind of hit all those places up. And then but yeah, that's our goal, really. I mean, we got very similar ideas.
Yes, seems like we're pretty aligned in that for sure. Moving to the larger facility gives you a lot more to play with, a lot more room to grow. Yeah. You have way more population density than what we have, so definitely can grow for that for sure. But we just have to drive a little further than what Andy does, and then we get that population density. So just being a different area demographic like that, you may have to drive further. Andy has to drive less. It's just the way it is, and that's where we live. So you just have to deal with where you live. Yeah. So I would love to get 1% of New York City, right?
Yep.
That'd be a very good business.
That's way out there. Yeah. I'd be on the verge. It would have to be well worth my time to send somebody all the way up there. But we can get logistics involved and have, a company of some kind that's taking our stuff all over the place. Yep. Why not? So.
Yeah, and once you get in that facility, you're going to have that ideas. You're going to have that ability once you're in a bigger facility, right? To be able to have somebody come with a pickup truck, a big truck, and pick up your stuff and ship it out. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then hopefully by the end of that 5 years, we'll have enough set aside to be able to purchase our next building instead of having to pay a rent on it, which would be really nice. So that'd be good.
You build the building and then you build it big enough to have a tenant who pays for the building.
Yep.
That's my goal. All right. A well-crafted vision can ignite and fire inspiration. Just like we just talked about, inspiring, doing something different, building your own buildings, having somebody pay the rent for the building, pay your lease off for you. It's just not about a personal motivation. It's about creating an environment where everyone strives in a common dream. Think about a vision being the most eco-friendly microgreen provider you can and rally your team around that. Andy, have you used the power of inspiration with your team?
Yeah, I mean they see kind of our vision and our goal overall, and they're on board, which is great. And it's hard to find employees that actually care. They see this as their business as well, and I'm always making sure I go above and beyond and out of my way to make sure they feel appreciated, and buy them lunch on a regular basis, and just get them things on a regular basis and whatever, and just try and make them feel like they enjoy working here. And we've had a lot of people leave higher paying jobs actually come and work here, which is cool. Because they know the environment's really supportive, and we're definitely a fun place to work. We listen to good music all day, and luckily now that the store's closed, we don't have to deal with customers anymore, so it makes it a lot easier, and they enjoy that process a lot. Yeah, so it's definitely good. But yeah, they're definitely on board. They see it. They know as we grow, they're going to grow with us, which is cool. So
yeah, and as you were talking about last week, that they're definitely on board because they're all willing to. I don't think you're going to lose anybody by moving to the facility that's further away either, are you?
No, we shouldn't. Nope. Yeah, I mean, I'm literally going to support them in ways to make it worth their trip. to drive that extra distance. So it's definitely
That's
going to
awesome.
work out good because unfortunately there's a toll between where we all live and where we have to go. So, but luckily there's a pass you can get. I think it's like $20 a year,
Oh,
and you can drive over as many times as you want. It's kind of like an easy
nice.
pass, but just for that particular bridge. So I'm going to buy them all those so that way they don't have to worry about paying the tolls. And, I'm going to give them a little extra money here and there to make sure it's worth their time to drive across the bridge. So, but yeah, I'm not anticipating losing anybody.
Awesome. Yeah, having good teams, team members, you want to keep them. That's for sure.
Yeah. They're just as excited to get out of here as I am, believe me.
Are they tired of retail too?
No, it's cramped in here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. We have so much stuff in here now. It's like insane. There's very little room. It's very inefficient as far as the layout.
Hmm.
So if you're looking for commercial space right now, you that's listening, don't get a long rectangle. Get something that's way more square driven. You can fit a whole lot more racks in there.
Yes.
Because this rectangle sucks. It's 20 feet going this way. You can't even get 4 deep, worth of racks. So it's not fun. We're definitely jammed in here. So get a nice square place if you can.
For sure. Live and learn, right? As we
Yep.
move in this business. So
Yep.
these goals are just yardsticks. They help you track your process, tweak your strategies, and celebrate milestones. Make sure you celebrate your milestones as you go along in life, business, whatever you're doing. Celebrate the little milestones. For example, achieving a set monthly goal for your revenue. We did that. We had our first month of $1,000. We celebrated it. We went out to dinner, enjoyed that moment. As we hit 5,000 a month, we celebrated it. When we hit 5,000 a week, we celebrated it. And you celebrate them goals as you go along, it makes a big difference. Are expanding into new markets are indicators of progress. If you get a new market, that's an indicator of progress. We track our progress with new clients. Is how we track our progress now. How many new clients have we gotten? How many new customers did we get this month? How many did we add? That's how we track our progress now. It's not about the money comes with it and all that, obviously, but we track how many new clients we got, how many more units are we moving out the door. That's where we're going now, and we got to go for that. Andy, what are some of your thoughts and importance and measures of progress?
Yeah. So for us, it was more when we moved into this space. We had 2 years here, and I thought I want to fill this place in 2 years. We filled it. We filled it, unfortunately, in 11 months. So, which is kind of a problem. So we've been, kind of slow on sales here in the last like 10 months, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because of it. Because we haven't had any room to really add any major clients. We've added little things, little grocery stores here and there, nothing crazy. But once we get into the new space, that's definitely the goal is to fill that place, and we have 5 years to do so. And I mean, it can hold 168 racks, I think. So if we ever fill that, we're going to be in very good shape. But that's the goal. So yeah, but I mean, in the meantime, I've been building farm flow, been working on getting my coaching stuff up and running, doing this and a whole bunch of other things to fill my time. So at least I'm continually, getting out into the community, continue to build additional revenue streams for the business. And then that way we're at least getting something new essentially coming in other than small clients. But yeah, that's definitely a big piece for us is just how fast can we fill the buildings. But I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, farm flow, we keep track, and we've been doing it before farm flow, obviously, when we just had it for ourselves. We were always keeping track of our monthly revenue and watching the ticker go up and down. And, the idea is to have it go up every month.
Yes.
So once I get out of here, full time sales, then I'll have all kinds of goals that I'm going to put in for financials, and really try and hit the ground running, beating the
Awesome.
streets, as some people call it.
Yes. Get out there and sell. You gotta. That's a great goal. Yeah, filled up for 168 racks. You'll be doing well and be able to afford to get out of your lease or whatever you need to do at that point if you
Yeah,
need to move. So
yeah,
that'd
without a
be a
doubt.
good problem to have.
Yeah, and that's also like the space that's attached to us. It's a big building, about half of it's theirs and half of it's ours. And when we signed our lease agreement, we actually put into where if that business goes out of business, we have the first choice to take that space over. So we could potentially expand out to like 8,000 square feet. And I think there's even a apartment upstairs above there. And we could be like, I mean, move in there.
Place to sleep.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. Just go
Nice.
downstairs and work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, that's a long ways from happening, but hopefully it won't be that long.
It's nice to have that flexibility if you
Yeah.
need it, for sure. Talking
Yep.
about being flexible with your goals is important too. Markets evolve, new trends emerge, and challenges arise. Always going to have challenges that arise. So be adaptable means evaluating and realigning your goals when necessary. For example, adapting a new growing technique for your environment as it changes. I can attest to this 100%. Our environment changed when we moved from our house to the garage to the warehouse. Warehouse changed even more than what we anticipated. Luckily, we had some good soil when we started in here to go into the Coco Loco, kind of helped out that a little bit. But the doors weren't sealed off all the way in the back. The garage doors, and so when it got cold, that cold air came in. Germination rates plummeted. Took longer for sunflowers to germinate. It's sealed off now, thank God. So we don't have them problems. But things are going to change when you move environments. So make sure you keep in mind of that. So growing additional products, so we grow a couple extra trays of something just to make sure. When you had problems with the arugula, we know we had problems. Farm Flow may say 10 trays. And we do 12 just to get a bumper, just to make sure that we're going to have the product for the customer, because a tray of arugula costs about $1, let's say, to grow with seed, soil, everything. It's worth an extra $1 to grow something more. So additional varieties based on customer preferences as well. Andy, how important do you think it's being adaptable with your goal setting and growing?
Yeah, I mean, it can go one of two ways. You're either going to grow faster than you think, or you're going to grow slower than you think. It's rare that you grow right on par with where you want to be. So you have to be able to adapt and change on the fly. And that's, I mean, a great example is what we've done over the last, 9 months or so, which was just, starting to work on different revenue streams and getting a coaching program up and running, Farm Flow up and running, knowing that I didn't have much space to grow in here. So that was like a good opportunity to take the time to do those kinds of things. So, and plus it gives me the time to work on, getting the new space up and running without having to be out there doing crazy amounts of sales. That time will come. Don't get me wrong. But for right now, we're just trying to get out of here and get it started. But yeah, adaptability and be able to do things on the fly and make adjustments on the fly is, if you can do that, there's nothing stopping you, honestly, because that's one of the toughest things as a business owner, is having a major problem dropped at your feet and you've got to figure something out, like literally on the spot, to make those adjustments. So if you can handle those kinds of things and that kind of pressure, the sky's the limit, literally.
Yes, for sure. So make sure you get out there, even if you're just starting, make sure you're setting your long-term goals, your big vision, setting your short-term goals. So, 3, 6 months, a year goals, your 5-year goals, get them set, and always be willing to change and adapt in your goals and in your growing techniques as you go along and get bigger and bigger. So, all right, on to the next. In the comment sections again, guys, do we have any comments, Jess, that came in that we need to answer on that subject? Goal setting or anything?
I do have one question. It came through from Z Santo Farms. Will you or do you have a salesperson always out trying to sell products or finding new customers?
No, it's just us, it's just Andy, mostly Jess. I do some of it, making phone calls, talking to people, going out, handing samples out as we're doing routes and stuff. That's pretty much all we do. And I know, Andy, it's just you as well, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I've had a couple like minor friends or whatever that I'm like, hey, go talk to these restaurants. If you get something out of it, I'll give you something for it or whatever. And it's worked a couple times, but it's usually not long term, because obviously they want to get paid, they want to have a full-time job, all that fun stuff. So hiring a salesperson can be expensive. It can also obviously make you a lot of money, but you have to have the space. And obviously, like, if I had hired somebody, let's say a year ago, I would have hired them and they would have filled this whole place, and done what?
Yeah.
I'm stuck at that point because I've got a salesperson I'm paying every week that has no sales to sell.
Can't go get any sales even.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the one only downside. I mean, obviously, if you got a huge facility and you got plenty of room, then hiring a salesperson is certainly worth it. Or if you're just like super introverted, can't do it yourself, scared to death, it's an option. I would still suggest trying at least. Get your feet wet. You're going to get some no's. You got to get used to that. That's just a part of selling. You're going to get one yes for every 10 or 12 or 50 no's. So you got to be ready for that rejection. But it's just part of the game, and you have to understand that. And those no's can hopefully turn to yeses in the long run. So just as long as you stick at it. But the more practice you get, the more comfortable you'll get. It just makes things so much easier. I mean, I think back when I was on here the very first time, it was like terrifying, to be live on YouTube. Now I don't even think twice about it. So because I'm used to it. So not a big deal.
Just because you get a no today doesn't mean it's a no tomorrow from the same person. Always following back up. So nobody's going to bite you or beat you up or anything else going in and trying to sell something. So there's nothing to be scared of. Go in, give them products. You'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, and you see it all the time in the Facebook groups where it's like, I've been working on these guys for 2 years and they finally gave me a yes. And I've been working on these guys for, yeah, you just had one not long ago, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Yep.
We were talking to somebody for a long, long time and they finally gave you a yes. So just stick with it. Keep at them. FarmFlow lets you do that. Sales prospects is the section you want to look for. Super easy to use. It's really basic. It's not like a full-blown CRM with all the crazy shenanigans. It just allows you to do exactly what you need to do. Create a list of customers and create statuses as to where they are and add follow-up dates. It'll tell you when you need to follow up, all that fun stuff. So, use that if you have to, just keep track of everybody. It's an easy way to do it. I have my employees actually add, during slow time when we had still had the store open, if there wasn't people in the shop, they were out researching, different restaurants and different places in the area and adding them to the system for me.
Nice.
And then I would go in and follow up with them. So I guess, to go back to DeSanto Farms' question, I mean, I technically had salespeople. They just weren't actually selling. They were just putting data into the system. So if you have a teenage kid or, something like that, have them just do that. And then that way it gives them something to do. You can pay them a small amount of money to have it done. And then you get a bunch of leads. They're not like great leads because you still got to reach out to them cold, but it's better than nothing, better than you spending the time doing it. So certainly worth, thinking about.
And as you guys can see, if you put a comment in the sections that when we prompt you to do that for whatever we're talking about, if it pertains exactly to that one at the end, we will go through and answer it as we go along in this. So we make sure it's on topic for you. And if you want to, go ahead and make sure you like this video, share it out to everybody else, and make sure you do the giveaway, put in that hashtag Thumbcast for the giveaway here in a little bit. So anything else on that, Jess, or are we moving on?
I think that's all pertaining to long-term goals, and I think we've got some to talk about later.
Okay, awesome. All right, again, in the comment sections here, let me know, do you feel like you have a clear sense of purpose for yourself and for your business? If you do have a so just go ahead and put that in the comments. So if you do have a run into any challenges when trying to operate our purpose-driven business, a business purpose should resonate deeply with your personal values. It's more about just profits. It's about fulfillment. For instance, if you have sustainability as your passion, integrate that into every aspect of your business. This alignment ensures that each day is rewarding for you and for your business. For me, it's just not about making money with microgreens. It's way more personal. Hey, so get into this. Our business was started out not only at a desire, but not only to feed my family, but healthy food that would come and grow home, but to share health foods with others. And shortly after starting our microgreen business, I got some really scary news that some of you know about. I had cancer. It was a very rare and aggressive one, but we were able to continue to grow our business. Luckily, we were in business and be able to do that through 2 surgeries, recovery, and I can say without a doubt, 100%, that I am cancer-free without radiation because of microgreens. I know that's a lot, and probably go through my full story at some point with you guys. But to stay on topic today, my business 100% aligns with my values of that. Healthy food, curing yourself, not taking pills, not taking radiation. I'm in the business of helping our community eat better and teaching others how to grow their own business with microgreens. That is my passion. And so it feels great knowing that I can do that. Might not make some of our lives a little bit better, but just make microgreens did for me. So that's my passion. That's why I do this. That's why I will always do this business and why I will always try to get healthy food into people and teach people how to do the same all the time. So, Andy, does your views align with your business and with your personal values?
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to say congratulations. I know that was a struggle. My mom's going through it right now, unfortunately. So it's not a fun thing to watch, but I'm glad you were able to get through it. I appreciate that.
Yep.
But yeah, our passion is my wife and I just love growing food. I mean, we have a big garden in our backyard. It's just something we always enjoy doing together. And when it boiled down to it, we have a lot of awesome farms in our area, and it just didn't make sense for us to try and compete with them. We didn't want to take business away from them because they're thriving, they're doing really well, and they grow incredible produce. So we decided to do something that nobody was doing in the area. We decided to take the hard road, which is something I tend to always do for some dumb reason. But it worked out great. I mean, we had to literally create the market for these in this area. Nobody had any clue what microgreens were, so it was really a giant uphill battle. I mean, it was brand new. This is 3.5 years ago. It was just on the cusp of starting to become a known thing. But where I live, it's meat and potatoes country. Like nobody eats healthy here.
Yeah.
But we've helped, I don't know how many people lose over 100 pounds. We have one lady that's lost over 250 pounds. We have stage 4 cancer patients that are terminal, that are living a good life, because they're eating what they need to eat and putting the right things into their body. And obviously part of that is some of the stuff that we grow. So, which is really nice. So their numbers are great. Their doctors are super happy. So they can at least live a good life for what they have left. And that's, I've always been a big proponent of helping people, as you guys know. That's why we're on here. As a Boy Scout, so, and all that good stuff. So it's like I'm just a natural, person that wants to help. So it's definitely a good thing to be able to help people eat healthy. And some of my friends, some of the people I've only met through this, and to see their lives change as a result is really cool. So definitely a nice plus. But yeah, that's what we enjoy, is just the helping folks out and helping them eat healthier at least, and just be able to fulfill a passion that we enjoy, which is growing food.
That's awesome. Yeah, a general sense of purpose, connecting with your customers on a level that goes beyond just financial transaction. It builds your community. For example, if your mission to promote healthy eating, like we are, your customers will get that feel that they get every time they eat microgreens as well, and when they purchase. Our connection with our customers builds lasting relationships with them. It's not just about the immediate sale that you get at the farmer's market when you're talking to somebody. It's about the relationship you can build with that customer over time and have a natural conversation with them when they come back up to the farmer's market or when you see them out in public or whatever else, building that general connection. Andy, what are your thoughts on connecting with your customers?
The funny thing is, I've made more friends doing this than in any other avenue of my entire life.
Nice.
We've been invited to some of our customers' houses for dinner. We've invited them over for dinner. We've had a bunch of people come out and check out the farm, even if they're not if they're just a delivery customer, they have no reason to come here. They're happy to come out and check it out. And we've had some of them volunteer, to actually come out and help for the day and just help plant, help harvest, whatever, and see what it's like, to actually do it. And it's kind of hilarious when some of them come out and they think it's going to be easy, and then at the end of the day, like, man, my back hurts, my shoulders hurt, my neck hurts. I'm like, yeah, welcome to farming. So they're not used to that, crazy tense amount of work. But yeah, we've definitely established a lot of really great relationships. Some of our customers have been with us since we started, literally. Nice. And some of the friends that I work with, that started out, like my very first customers were some old friends of mine, and we barely talked prior to that. Now we talk all the time because of it. So, I love doing deliveries. Every once in a while I have to do it. And every time I do, I always hate the drive, but I love it when I get there because I get to talk to everybody and say hi to everybody. And, it's just a cool thing. And beyond that, the chefs, the relationship you establish with them, is always very cool too. And they can help you out with different things and hook you up with different contacts that they know and things like that. So yeah, the relationship building is huge. The more comfortable they feel with you, it's like a no-brainer. It's, if you're good friends with somebody, why would anybody, if somebody else comes in and tries to sell them the same thing, why would they switch to them when they already know you, they know you comfortably, they know you're going to get taken care of? That's really the big thing. So yeah, it's super important, especially in this business.
Don't just, like when you're going to a chef and restaurant, just don't dump off the microgreens, get your money and go.
Yep.
Have a conversation with them and build that relationship so they never feel that somebody comes in, they're like, nope, I already got Andy, my best friends, doing my microgreens. I don't need you.
Yep. And we've had that happen several times where chefs that came in, they're just laughing. They're like, yeah, some guy tried to come in and sell me microgreens, and I laughed him out the door.
Because they know you. That's the building that relationship. It's awesome.
Yep. That's it. It's important.
When your employees understand and share your purpose on their engagement and dedication, their dedication skyrockets to your business, as Andy was just talking about it a minute ago. Imagine a team that believes deeply in your mission of sustainable farming, if that's your mission. Their commitment is unparalleled. They are happy to share that mission with other customers as well. So I'm sure when Andy had his retail opened up, his employees shared that value and that passion of that business. It shone when the customers come into the building, and that's what kept them coming back. Yep. Our only employee right now is one of our children. So they're very familiar with our purpose. But in the past career in hospitality, employee engagement was a huge part of building our successful team. Andy, do you feel like I do that employees engagement is something that is good at your farm?
Yeah, 100%. I know, like, when customers come in, they would usually talk to me because I would just try and keep my people away from that as best I could. Just because, that way they didn't have to deal with it, basically. But even when I wasn't here, I got constant compliments from all the customers that came on a regular basis. When I would see them, be like, oh my gosh, your people are so nice and they're so sweet. And they take care of everything I need every single time I come in. And that's important. It's, when you go to like a fast food restaurant or something, to pick up something through the drive-through, and the person doesn't give a crap that you're there. They just hand you the bag or whatever, and here's your receipt, and have a nice day, or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
that doesn't turn you on. It doesn't make you want to go back. So the idea is just to make them feel comfortable, make them feel good, make them feel important. And that's just, it's a no-brainer from there. I mean, if you can make them feel good about everything, and their relationship with you is strong, then it's going to be very hard to break that. The downside is, being a small business owner, it doesn't take much to break that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to constantly, live that life, where big places like, big box stores or whatever, they can screw people over as many times as they want. People will keep going back
Yeah.
because they think they have no other choice. So, but yeah, it's tougher when you're a small business owner, but at the same time, if you've got the passion and you've got the desire, then it should never be something you have to worry about anyway.
Yep, exactly. Resilience stems from a strong sense of purpose. It's the anchor during rough seas. When challenges come, because they will, be rooted in your purpose is the way to stay course. Having that strong anchor in your business. Our business has faced its share of challenges. We've made adjustments and really strained on our schedules because of it, and our budget, that we make sure we're able to fill our orders on time without fail at the highest quality of food, no matter what was going on. Through personal times, we talked about it a minute ago, our financial times is when we're starting a business. It's a struggle in the beginning. Any business is going to be a struggle in the business. So can you get through them tough times? Can you get through them big personal tough times? My belief is that we've been through the roughest waters we're ever going to be through, with personal finances, everything else, that the rest of the water is smooth sailing no matter what comes up. So we have no problems getting through that. But we went through the hardest parts in the first few years. So now we can really, really build the business. Andy, can you think of a time when it was tough at Fresh Storm Farms and you had to be flexible and adapt?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much ever since we moved in here, it's been insane. Because I mean, we went from having no expenses to all of a sudden having a lease payment, having employees, having payroll, having an extra electric bill, having an electric internet bill, having a dumpster bill, having all these things that came out of nowhere. Not to mention the farm. We had to buy 30 racks in the last year, this year actually.
Oh.
So it's been a big expense buying lots of trays, whole bunch of racks, whole bunch of lights, all the equipment we needed to get in here. This big giant triple fridge that's over here, that we used out front. Now that we use it in the back, it's a lot to move into a commercial space, especially when it's retail. Not as bad when it's not retail, because you don't have to make it look nice. No one's going to see it. But we put a whole lot of money into this place to get it up and running. And it takes a while to make that money back. But obviously, if people come in and the place looks like crap, then they're not going to want to buy anything. I wouldn't want to buy anything. So we had to make it look good. Luckily, the next space, we don't have to worry about that. It's just going to be painted white and simple and done. So, but yeah, definitely that's the biggest challenge, is like, if you grow faster than you expected, it can be a lot of money up front to keep things moving. That's the only downside. So definitely grow at a pace you can handle. Because if you don't, it's going to be really tough, really, really tough financially, especially.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Using that money to turn back into the business in the first year, 6 months.
Yep.
What we did, and then where it was on its own feet, and then we can make money as well. So that's my recommendation. Take 6 months, turn all that money back in, and then build that up so you don't have the rough financial aspects after 6 months to a year. You can get through that. So, all right. Jess, do we have any questions based off of this section? Not yet. All right. Now, make sure you get your questions in. And if it's anything pertaining to this topic we're on, we definitely will get to it. And speaking of that, for the next one, in the comment sections, let us know if you're using what long-term your goals are when you're making your decisions for your business. So what decisions are you making for your long-term goals? How are you doing that? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear them. With a clear vision, you can easily make decisions that will push you towards your goals. For example, when you're choosing between two different expansion opportunities, it becomes clearer when you have a vision and guide you. I know Andy just went through this when you're choosing a space, as we did. And what was your vision and your farm impact for strategically setting your business priorities there?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, the goal was just to give us space that was going to be a lot more efficient than what we have now, to get out of a retail space, to get a cheaper lease payment, because it's ironically, I mean, we're only going up like maybe $400 a month for twice the space. which is insane. So really the goal was just to kind of, move into a space that works a lot better for us and allows us to grow a lot longer. Because we knew we were going to max it out. We didn't think we were going to max it out as fast as we did. And now here we are, struggling to get into this new space as a result. So, hopefully you never have to run into that position where you filled your space and you're sitting there waiting for your lease to end or whatever. It's not fun to not be able to make sales. But at the same time, it's paying for itself and then some, which is good. So that's all that really matters in the end. But I'm looking forward to it being able to pay for itself and then some.
Yeah, for sure. With all that space, I'm sure it's going to happen fast for you.
Yeah. We're hoping to double our operation by the end of next year at minimum.
Nice.
That's the plan.
Us too. So we'll see.
Nice.
Race is on.
Yep. Well, yours is easier to double.
Yeah.
Actually, your lettuce alone will probably about double what you guys are doing. You can get that up and running at full speed.
It'd be at least 50% increase.
Yeah.
It'd be about 50% increase. So not quite
That's
double.
awesome.
But yeah. And with the flowers and everything else, it might get double this with that without adding microgreens on. So we had microgreens on, maybe we'll triple the business. So
yep, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like we talked about earlier, we have a pretty large 5-year goal. Because of that, we've learned more towards grocery stores and retail distributing because it's a faster growth pan. You can get it going faster than trying to get 200 more home deliveries. You can get 10 grocery stores. One retail distributor can take care of that. That can double your business depending on what size you're at really fast. So a vision ensures consistency in your goals and your decision making. Every choice, whether it's about marketing, strategics, or product lines, aligns with where you're at in your business to be in the long run. So, Andy, how do you stay consistent with your business decisions? I know some of them are somewhat of a hold because of moving, but
yeah. I mean, we're kind of stuck at the moment, but I mean, we're even then, we're still working on trying to build new relationships with new, bigger accounts in the hopes that the time it takes, which it always takes time, to go through the whole process, that we'll be in the new space and ready to go by the time we actually close some of these deals. But for the most part, they understand. They know where we're moving. They know that's the plan. So I'm not going to lie to them up front and say, oh yeah, we can start you next week, because we can't. We just don't have the room. But the goal will be to actually get them into some of these new spaces. But for the most part, I mean, we've continued to do what we do. I mean, we go to all places. It's not just one specific thing. We do restaurants, grocery stores, distributors, wholesale, direct to consumer through delivery programs, things like that. And we aren't going to stop any of that stuff. I mean, it's fun. It's a great way to, you build that local brand through the residential side. You hope that they go to the grocery stores when they need to. If they can't get your stuff, or they choose not to get your stuff through a delivery, then at least they're going to the grocery stores and buying your stuff. So you're making a sale regardless. So it's great to get that, immediate local people. And then the restaurant side, obviously, it's another way to build a brand easily, because they're sharing stuff, we're sharing their stuff every time they post pictures. So it's really beneficial for that. And grocery stores, it's another way to build local brand with people you've never met before, and people you may never work with. If you go there and do taste testings and people are walking to the front door, they now know who you are. They know your product is there and they've had a chance to taste it. So it's really, you start small and work your way out. I mean, the distributors, they don't care who you are. They just want, a cheap microgreen that they can sell when it boils down to it. Yeah. They aren't looking for a relationship as quite as much, but they can. Some can, some aren't. It depends on which ones you're dealing with. But, that's why we just try and be super diverse, hit up a little bit of everything. And then that way, it's not ideal, because obviously you can't really develop like a solid business plan in one direction or another. We just had to, throw out a big net and hope we catch a lot of big fish and some small fish.
I would say somewhat you can build a relationship with your produce manager in a grocery store, who usually makes decisions, and you make that good connection with them, that they'll do the same thing a chef does. Nope, already got somebody. Don't even want to look at your stuff. So don't think you can't make a relationship in a grocery store, but depending on what size you're in the small or regional stores, yes. If you're giving it to a distributor to go out, do that. No, you can't make a connection with them people, obviously.
Yeah.
You just have to have good products. That's your connection.
Yeah.
Your long-term vision dedicates where and how you distribute your resources. You only got so much time, money, or effort. For example, investing in innovation, growing technology might be a priority in your vision, including in techno-foreign company. So, automatic watering, stuff like that. You might want to look at a harvesting machine, something like that. Because we are trying to grow at the highest quality and healthiest microgreens, We invest a lot of our time and energy into researching health benefits and found that using quality seeds and soil needs to be priority number one and two. While that can be a bit more expensive for us, it supports our company vision, so it's well worth it. Andy, how does your company vision help decide where you're going to focus your resources?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a similar boat where our biggest thing, I think, if overall, if you had to put something out there that is defining us, is just we want to make sure everything is done safely and healthy, and then that way we're not creating any issues, we're not getting anybody sick, things like that. So for the same reason, we go out of our way to use stainless steel tables and stainless steel sinks and stainless steel, NSF rated racks for everything that we do, and even down to creating a stainless steel and aluminum soil press, to make sure we don't, do anything. I mean, I want to be able to sanitize everything clean, and it's a big thing for us. So beyond the fact that we're trying to provide healthy, food for folks, we also want to make sure that they continually enjoy it for the rest of their time, their lives, and not have to have any issues or get sick from it. So that's definitely, I think, probably a big thing for us. We're definitely cleanaholics here. When I had my USDA inspection when they came in earlier this year, we did nothing. I mean, didn't clean anything. They walked in the door, they saw it exactly how it typically is, and they're, and I told them that. I was like, yeah, we didn't do anything in prep for this. We just, I wanted to show you what it looks like on a regular basis, because that's just how we roll. I mean, we try and keep it super, super clean. We mop the floors, 2 times a week. We clean, sweep the floors every single day, just about, but we're overly crazy when it comes to cleanliness, and that's definitely a big piece of our internal vision as far as like just providing good quality stuff that's safe to eat.
Yes.
But yeah,
we clean our floors like 3 times a day. Well, our robot does.
Yeah.
So, we have that little robot that goes around and vacuums every 6 hours, every 8 hours. So that's nice.
I got to get him back up and running again.
You just got to have everything off the floor that they could get stuck in them. Cords. They will find everything.
Yeah. Literally right before this call, I was putting extension cords up off the ground so I could get the Roomba going again.
They will find the littlest things you didn't know you had in a corner or something. Like, what did you eat that? Where did you get that screw at? There was no screws on the floor. It's weird. But yeah. Anyway, when you're facing the risks and a long-term vision, acts as a compass. Your long-term vision is going to be that compass in that hard water when you're going down that risk sea. That compass, you need that. It helps weigh those risks against potential long-term benefits. For example, exploring a new market might be risky, but it could align well with your vision or expansion. I know it was risky for us when we changed from doing home deliveries to going to doing grocery stores, and going that realm. That was a big risk. What if it doesn't sell? You don't know. First grocery store, like it fails, like we did, but we stayed at it and went with it. But that can be a big challenge, when you're changing up or you got all that set and you go into a new one. You go to a distributor now. Now they're $50,000 to $100,000 are bringing you, but if you lose that, that's going to be a big, big thing for you. So, Andy, what's your perspective on vision and risk assessment?
Yeah, I would agree 100%. I mean, the biggest risk I think we took so far was starting with our first distributor, which was, about $12,000 worth of supplies that we had to buy just to get started.
Yeah.
And that was before they paid us. So we were already out 12 grand just to get up and running, but it's a lucrative account, if you can keep it. But obviously, you have the chance of losing it overnight. So you could be out $12,000. They find somebody cheaper than you, and the next thing you know, they've dropped you completely in a blink of an eye, and you're screwed. Now you have $12,000 worth of supplies that you got to fill. So taking on big distributors can be a humongous risk, and it's something you have to make sure you've got the remaining restaurant accounts, grocery store accounts, home delivery accounts, whatever, to support that just in case it goes away. Because that's definitely a humongous risk to get into. But like Mike said and I said, I mean, they can be very lucrative accounts. They can make you a lot of money, but it's a whole different animal. I mean, they're like I said, they're not going to become your friends. They just want good quality product. If they aren't getting it, then their chefs are going to complain. They're selling to hundreds, if not thousands, of different places. And if they complain, then they're all going to come back to him, or your salesperson over there. Then he's going to come back to you and be like, "You're done," or they'll cut your order in half or whatever. So, it's definitely a big risky thing to take on if you can do it. But make sure you have the space for it. That's definitely a huge thing too, because I mean, like I said, we added 12 racks for our very first distributor. That's a lot of room taken up all of a sudden. So it can definitely add up to some crazy amounts. But yeah, risk is definitely a big piece of doing any business. You have to be willing to take the risk, and if you're not willing to take your risk, then you have to grow at your own pace. If you're willing to run your business more on the seat of your pants, then you can take those risks and hope to God that it works out. Sometimes it won't, sometimes it will. Yeah, exactly. So you just have to hope it all works out in the end. That's the important thing. But yeah, it's definitely it can be a risky business, but that's the same with any business you're ever going to have in your entire life. There's risk and reward, and it's just whether or not you're willing to put that risk in to get the reward.
It's a risk going and getting a job, and somebody else
Yeah.
could say, we don't need you anymore.
Yep.
You have no control of that. At least in business, you have somewhat control of what you're doing.
Yep.
So anything is a risk. It's just what your risk versus reward is and how you want to go after it. So for me, I want to revolutionize the microgreen market with health and wellness at its core. One of the best piece of advice I've ever received when starting this business: be here in 3 years and you will know you've won. Well, we're here. We're building in brand and expanding into new markets, including working with food banks and other outreach organizations as well to encourage healthy food choices for everyone. And I'm able to share that what I've learned through this podcast, our consulting, and our microgreen business coaching course. That is where we're at, where our passion is. We are trying to get this out to as many people as can. And I can't do it, and Andy can't do it. We can't get this food out to everybody. So that's the reason why we share our passion on this podcast and our coaching programs and everything else, so we can get that out there and lead everybody healthy food. So, Andy, are there any personal insights on your long-term vision at First Source Farms?
Yeah, I mean, it's very along the same lines. I mean, it's in order to build the industry as a whole, we have to have good growers out there. And obviously, the more people that are growing microgreens, the more people that know what microgreens are. So we're ultimately all helping each other out,
Yes.
through so many different means of getting the word out about what they are so people will get familiar with them. So, when you're that brand new grower going to your first farmer's market for, the first time in your life, and you assume nobody in my area knows what they are, there's people out there that have helped educate the world, on what they are. And hopefully those people have seen that and they'll come up to your market and be like, oh yeah, I know what these are, and you may be surprised by how many people actually know what they are at this point.
Yeah.
So, that's been a big piece, is just that education. We had to start that here, because our local area had no clue what they were. So that was a big uphill battle, and we got that taken care of here. So at least now people know, but now we're working on expanding out, getting that knowledge out there. And, that's why Mike and I do what we do, to try and help people get better at what they do, get cleaner at what they do, create a good quality product. And then that way, we've got microgreens all over the country and all over the world that are being sold to people that now know what they are. So, we just all have to build this business together and build this industry together.
And doing it the safe and clean way of getting the product out and not destroying the industry by doing something bad. That's also the goal.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, one of you guys on here could easily go to Tractor Supply and buy a bag of sunflower seed that's not meant for human consumption, grow it, sell it to a customer, they get sick, and guess what? It doesn't just affect you, it affects the entire industry. All of us that are doing it full time, it's gonna lead to more regulation, it's gonna lead to more inspections, it's gonna lead to more FDA involvement. We don't want any of that. We want to keep it as is. So, make sure if you're doing it, do it right. And if you're not doing it right, then stop doing it or do it right.
Yes.
Because I mean, this is something we all take seriously. And if there's somebody out there that does something stupid and causes us to all get jacked up because of it, then, it doesn't seem fair to us, or we're doing it the right way.
Exactly. Yep. And if you guys are getting value out of this, or if you would just like to help us out, it helps us out tremendously. It's free to do. It's just hit that little thumb button, that little thumbs up, that like, and it helps us get it out to more people. That's the thing that can help us out the most to get this out to everybody and to more people. So we appreciate that. Jess, do we have any questions that we need to hit right now? Doesn't seem to be. All right. So just make sure you keep hitting that like button and put in hashtag thumbcasts for the giveaway we're going to do it later on. I think we're going to have some new things on the wheel. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exciting. All right. So in the comments, if you want anything to be asked on this next section, let us know. How do you feel that your values reflect in your business? What are your values that are affecting your business? If they're personal values, are they business values? Do they line up? How do you think alignment with them would change the way you look at your company? Aligning your business goals with our personal values is something we should all do when building a business. Identifying your personal values like sustainable, healthy, community engagement is the first step. Integrating these into your business model. If your community is an important value for you, something you want to consider for your business is local collaboration with other businesses in your community. That doesn't just mean chefs. That can mean going to um, high schools, grade schools, sharing your information to them, farm bureaus, the health, the ag department, sharing with them, doing a community tent at a farmer's market. If you don't want to do a farmer's market all the time, just do a community tent once a year and share your information like that. There's so many ways to get out in the community and share this stuff and share this knowledge that you got and the healthy food you're providing. So just get out there and do something. Andy, you see your personal values showing up through your business?
Oh yeah, I mean, the community is definitely a big thing for us for sure.
Yeah.
We've spoke at many, 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 many locations, and I mean, literally, I will drop whatever I can to try and make that happen every opportunity I get. And we're also working with Morgan State University, and we just got contacted by Penn State last week. They want to work with us on a project to develop a program for microgreen growers.
Awesome.
So they're just trying to get it on the budget. So they had me write a letter of recommendation, asked me if I wanted to be part of that process. So that's the kind of recognition you can get as you go and go and go and get further up in the community board. So I'm definitely excited about that program. I really hope they get the funding for it because I think it'd be hugely beneficial to the microgreen industry as a whole. So, and obviously to come, from a place like Penn State, which is obviously very well known here in the United States, then that'd be pretty cool to get that out there. So, yeah, little things like a little tiny community event can lead all the way up to something like that, and an opportunity to work with some of the top people in the country, in this environment. So pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always been key for us, without a doubt. That's why, it doesn't matter if I have to go speak at an elementary school, I'll go speak at an elementary school and get yelled at by a bunch of little kids, but at least I know they know what microgreens are, and hopefully they'll go home and tell their parents about how this annoying microgreen farmer came in and ruined half their day. And at least then they'll know what microgreens are.
So. Yeah, we've been asked, probably even a tougher one than the grade school. We've been asked to go speak at a high school, but it's an alternative high school. So, the kids that can't exist in a regular school environment, this is where they're at. And that teacher's one of our customers. They're one of our home delivery customers, came to the farmer market all the time, everything else. And he asked us if we'd be willing to speak there. Of course, we said yes, but that's going to be a tough environment to get them to listen. They don't really want to be there anyway. So we'll see.
Well, I can tell you the elementary school kids didn't either. That was definitely the toughest one I've done so far out of all the different ones I've done. But yeah, I mean, talk to your local libraries, see if they'll be willing to host an event for you to speak. Any school, if you have like a local tech school of any kind, like we have, School of Technology here in our county that we talked at, at least 2 or 3 times now. Any local community colleges that have an ag program of any kind, even if they just have ag classes, go talk to the ag class. And it's the one cool thing is you get to tell people, like, you don't have to own land, you don't have to own equipment to be a farmer. You can still farm in a closet, in a extra bedroom, and whatever, which is really cool because there's some kids that love farming but don't come from a farming family. I'm a first generation farmer, as I tell people. My family never did it. We never had any farmland or any animals or any of that kind of stuff. So I've started from what I'm at, but it's just one alternative way for people to be able to become farmers without having to put a whole lot of money into it. So that's the thing I like, is just inspiring young kids to think along these lines and not like, oh my gosh, how am I going to save up $1 million or whatever to buy a huge chunk of land and a giant, John Deere tractor or whatever. You don't need to do that. This is a great way to get started, at least.
Yep. Funny thing, we just had a delivery here of food today, and the guy walks in and he's like, I thought I was going to a farm. It said itty bitty micro farm. This is like an office area. Oh, well, it's back here. And showing to him, his face is lit up when he went back there and seen food being grown inside and in vertical aspect and everything else. So, like, anytime somebody comes in here, we share it with them. We show it to them because they're amazed by it, that you can grow food like that. So yeah, just little things like that who knows who he's going to go tell and be like, I went to a farm today that was, so he's going to go share that. And he's going to remember our name. And, when he goes in the grocery store, he might see our packaging and say, oh, I'm going to get that. I know them guys.
That guy. Yeah.
So little things.
That's the way to do it.
We're planning on having farm tours here eventually, when we get fully settled in, having farm tours here and bringing people in to show them the farm, which I could think would be huge. So,
we've done that a couple of times with the local high schools and School of Tech. And I mean, literally they'll come in and do our work. I put them to work the whole day. They'll come in, they'll plant, they'll, move
See you
things out of
later.
germination and everything else. Yeah, it's awesome. And there's like 13 or 14 of them, so
A lot
it
of work
goes really quick, really quick.
done. Nice.
So yeah, anytime you get an opportunity like that, take it. Absolutely. Just make sure, obviously, cleanliness and safety and everything are in play. When you're bringing people into your farm, for sure.
Yep. And
Last
I've
thing you want
seen
to
in
do
the
is have them not wash their hands and touch a bunch of stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't let them do that. Seen in the comments people talking about they still want acres. I agree with you. I still want 700 acres. Personally, 500, 700 acres. That's my ultimate goal to be on that. We can do this urban right now. So that's where we're at. We're start here and then we go from there. But I agree with you. Get land.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I would love to have like 50 to 100 acres. I'd be totally happy. All
yes.
woods.
Yep.
I'd be totally happy.
Someplace you can hunt on your own land and yeah.
Yep. Yep. Hike on our own land, fish on our own land, preferably if we can find one with a stream or a pond or something. Yeah, it'd be
Or
awesome.
both.
Yeah.
Preferably. But yeah. All right. Your business values are the heartbeat and they define what your stand for. Quality, innovation, customer service. For instance, if your quality is your core value, as it should, reflect every product you offer. Andy, what are your thoughts on defining your business values?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important to think about, what you're doing this for. And obviously, you're ultimately selling to people. So quality has definitely got to be a big piece of it, for
Yes.
obvious reasons. So you definitely got to make sure that's number one. So for us, it's quality customer service, and that's pretty much the two driving factors for us. If we produce a quality product, everybody's going to want it. And as long as we give them great customer service, they're never going to have any reason to leave us. And that's pretty much what those two things lead to ultimately is long-term customers.
For sure. Your vision and your mission should be a mirror of your values. They're not just a statement, they're a reflection of what your business lives and breathes every day. Andy, what's your role of vision and mission in your business? Vision and mission in your business.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm basically the guy that does all of the front end stuff to a certain extent. I try and deal with the customers as much as I can, and I'm the customer service. So I mean, I give everybody my cell phone to make sure they have an easy way of getting a hold of me directly. And then as far as our vision goes, it's really just the same thing: the quality and the customer service. I make sure those stay top number one. And then subset of that is just making sure my employees are comfortable here, they feel good about it, making sure they're happy. Because ultimately, my goal was to build a strong foundation to build the business on top of, and I've got that now. I just don't have the room yet.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the next big key piece. So once we get out of here, I've got that solid foundation. I can build pretty much an infinite business on top of at that point, because I've got really good quality trained people that I can have train other people, without my involvement at this point, because they know the system so well. But yeah, that's really it for us.
Awesome. Being truly authentic is a key to aligning your values with your business goals. It's important to walk the talk, not just to use the values as a marketing slogan. For instance, if
Yes.
you value environment stability, implement green practices into every piece of your operation as much as you can. Don't just slap a little green recycling sticker on your packaging and think that's good. Andy, I know you're authentic and important in your business goals as well. What is one way
Yeah.
that you show your business?
Yeah, I mean, we're not like, we don't go too crazy with the sustainability piece of it, because most of our people unfortunately don't really care, which is
Yep.
unfortunate. But if that's your goal, go for it, and make sure everybody knows 100%, what you're doing to do that. But for us, it's really just trying to make that good solid connection with our customers, and just establish that long-term relationship. That's our ultimate goal, for everybody that we talk to, everybody we deal with. And then just continue to add more of those people that we can continue to build those relationships with. And that obviously will ultimately build out the business as big as you want it to get, as long as you don't lose that sense of value. I mean, you should be treating your $1,000 a week distributor the exact same way as you're treating your $5 a week delivery customer, or whatever, as long as they all feel important. I mean, it's one of those things, like when I've coached at the high school years ago, volleyball. And every time I saw the janitors in there, who are usually the people who are looked down upon the most, it was, "How you doing, ma'am? How you doing, sir? I appreciate what you do. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't get this place clean."
Yep.
I mean, it's, most people don't even talk to them. It's a shame.
Crazy.
But I made them feel very important every single time. They were very thankful, of that. And it's just, that's how it should be. I mean, all the way up to the principal of the school, all the way down to the janitor of the school, they're all equal in my eyes. And as long as you see people that way, then you'll be good.
I personally think the janitors are more important than the
Oh
principal
yeah,
superintendents because without
they
them,
do more.
yeah, they do a lot more. Without them, the place would be terrible, be trashed.
Yep.
So that's just my personal opinion. So treat them all with respect. So
Yeah.
Jess, we got any questions that pertain to this subject?
And I would even tell my players, I'm like, you better leave this place cleaner than when you arrived.
Don't just leave the work for
Vendors
them.
have to do the extra work.
Yep.
Justin just wanted to add that he don't listen to them. Believe in yourself. Failure is a learning experience. I
Yep.
gave myself
Yeah.
permission to be wrong.
There,
So definitely
there are no failures. There's just experiments.
Yep.
Keep that in mind.
There's wins and then there's learning experiences. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
100%. You're right. So in this section, let us know, especially if you've been growing for a while, do you still feel like a sense of fulfillment when you deliver your customers' orders? Are you still getting that fulfillment? Are you still proud of what you're doing? Or are you just going through the motions? Let us know. When your business goals align with your personal values every day because your mission-driven journey is filling a deeper level. For example, knowing that your working contributes to healthier eating habits makes your effort worthwhile. Andy, I know you show your passion and motivation in business. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a ton of people just come up to me and say, I buy stuff from you because of how passionate you are about your product. And we've said it so many times in these podcasts, how important that is, because ultimately you have to be excited about what you're doing. And if you're not, then it's not going to go well. So you got to feel good about what you're doing. You got to be passionate about it, and you got to be able to educate people and make them understand and see your passion. As even when I was coaching volleyball, my favorite thing was to watch a kid love the game, learn to love the game, and if I can help people learn to love, working microgreens into their existing diets and realize the benefits from it and see and experience and feel the benefits from it, I mean, that's a huge win beyond the financial side of it. It's the fact that they're getting, they're improving their own lifestyle. They may live 10 years longer as a result of meeting you, and putting your stuff into their body every week. So that's a huge thing when you really think about it.
Yeah. It's a very huge thing. Like, that's the most important thing you could probably give anybody. It's well worth more than the money that you could get from it. So,
yep.
Customers gravitate towards businesses that share their values, this aligns foster deep roots in loyalty and trust in you. For example, a customer who values sustainability will be drawn to a business that prioritizes sustainability, eco-friendly practices. Or somebody who wants health, they can gravitate to you. Sharing your personal story with them. My personal story with them on health journey and where I've been and everything else can be bounds of value to them and make them somebody who's always going to love you and do your business because you're helping them out in health. Whatever your business is aligned, that's what you want to go after. That's what you want to share with your people, with your customers, with your clients. Andy, I noticed you've impacted a shared values and customer loyalty.
Yeah. I mean, and our big thing, and I want to stress this heavily to everybody that's here. I mean, don't be afraid to share your story, because ultimately, especially on social media, I mean, if you're just posting sales stuff nonstop, you're not going to get much. But if you're talking about how microgreens have changed somebody's life, or sharing a great recipe, or sharing, some kind of really awesome, thing that a college or whoever put together, doing some research on a particular green, or it's just that's the stuff that people are really interested in. That's how they build that bond with your business. If it's constantly like, here, buy my $10 microgreens, here, buy my $5 microgreens, here, go to my website, buy my microgreens, here, get on my subscription program. I mean, you're never going to get anywhere with that. People want to know who you are, what you're about, what your business is like. Even if it's just, posting a quick video of you talking about what you're doing that day, or, this is what it looks like when I plant, this is what it looks like when I wash trays and whatever. That's the kind of stuff that really drives that true bond. Because you think about, like, if you meet somebody on social media, which I know Mike and I do all the time, because people friend request us all the time out of the microgreen groups. We don't know them initially, but we've gotten to know so many of them because of it. And it's not always hey Mike, how can I do this? Hey Andy, how can I do that? Over time you get to know people, and because of that, you build that friendship and that bond.
Yep.
It's no different than you trying to bond with a business or somebody trying to bond with your business. So you have to have that get to know you section, and then the hope would be, when you do post out that salesy thing, they go, you know what, I really like this guy, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And that's really the goal. So that's where community comes in too. So it all kind of ties together. the more recognition you can get in your local community. I mean, there's people who recognize us all the time, and it's not because of this. It's not
No,
because of the fact that we have a farm that's known all over the world. It's because we get out there locally and talk to people, so they recognize us when they see us in restaurants and all kinds of other stuff. So
yep,
it's huge to have that storytelling piece of it. So
yep.
don't hesitate to do that on your social media.
Even in business, whatever, like Gary V. I know we probably all know who Gary V is. One of his biggest selling books is Jab, Jab, Hook. You jabbing them 3 times. You're just telling them stories, and then you give them an offer. You can do that same thing in the microgreen business world. Just tell story, what you're doing. Okay, now I give you the offer. Oh, you didn't like
Yep.
that offer? Okay, I'll do more of this, and then give you another offer. Same concept. So you can do that. It's a great book. I recommend read. If you're in the business world, make sure you read that book if you haven't yet. So employees who see their values reflected in their workplace are more engaged and more committed to you and to the business. This leads to better productivity and more positive work culture. Andy can talk about that. He has a great work culture. For example, if
Yeah.
your team values, innovates, foster, creates environment, will you keep them and motivate them? Andy, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have an application. I literally don't. If you want to get hired here, it's an interview. You're talking to me face to face because
Nice.
you can fill out a piece of paper, but that doesn't tell me who you are. It doesn't tell me what your personality's like. It doesn't give me any idea of what kind of person you are. I literally write down random questions and I ask them questions that are different for every single person. So I'll kind of walk in and, think like, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go. And then if I get a different reaction, then I'm going to try and go a different direction or whatever. I mean, my goal obviously is to pick good quality people that I know are going to put the time in, that are going to feel passionate about what we do, and that are going to work well with my existing group of people. Because I mean, I definitely have hired some people that haven't worked well,
Yep.
with our existing group of people, which is not that big of a deal. They still are great workers. It's just there's some, cultural differences or whatever that may cause some issues. So it's just easier to not go down that road. But I mean, something as simple as, we listen to music all day here. There's a little Allie speaker sitting right up there. We call her Allie so she doesn't hear us. But that mix is literally my entire employees' favorite bands in a mix. So I hear some of the songs I love. My other people hear some of the songs they love. Other people hear some of the songs they love. So it's a mix. I've learned so many new bands as a result of having that set up that way that I love, and it's really cool. So like it's just another way, to help them feel inclusive and be part of the whole thing. But and again,
Incentive.
yeah, we do employee dinners and things here and there. If somebody leaves, to go pursue another career, which I always encourage, I'm like, you guys, I don't expect you to work here the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't pay you enough to, buy a house and all that in the long run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I encourage them to go to college. I encourage them to get degrees. I encourage them to go do whatever they have to do to move to the next level. And if we had the financial ability, I would support that and help them. But even something as simple as like, one of my employees broke their lacrosse stick, and I offered to buy them a new one, and just little stupid things like that can help, and it makes them feel wanted and
Yeah.
important. And we treat everybody the same. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, they see me out there on the line, harvesting right next to them, packaging right next to them, doing all the hard stuff right next to them. Because I don't want to be like this. I mean, eventually I'll be just sales, but they still know that if the crap hits the fan, I'll be on the floor doing what we have to do.
Yep.
But they know I can do it all. I mean, there's a ton of like, how many times you watch what's that show called where the CEO goes undercover boss? If you've
Yeah.
ever watched it before, it's hilarious because these people have no freaking idea how to actually do the jobs.
Yeah.
They go in and it's sad because they're so high up on their big pedestal tower that they have no clue how to actually do the work at the bottom level. So to show your employees that you're there, you're willing to get into the trenches with them and do that work along their side. I mean, that's huge, but we treat everybody great. I mean, they absolutely love being here. But culture is big. I mean, if you have a bad culture, if you have one negative person in your group, negativity breeds negativity, unfortunately. So you got to constantly make sure you keep an eye on that. But it's a whole different animal. I mean, obviously, if somebody's got a problem with somebody else, you got to deal with it. And that could mean getting rid of somebody that you really like. It's hard to tell. So, but it's been a wild success. I mean, employees are expensive. They're definitely probably the biggest expense we have. Don't get me wrong, but they know, and I tell them all the time, I can't do this without you guys. I can't do this without you guys. I can't do this without you guys. Every single day they work, they get thanked personally by me, no matter what. And they know that I appreciate what they do. And that's really huge. whether they like it or not. It's like, telling your wife you love her every single time before you leave. It's just kind of second nature, but it's still important in the end. So they know that they're appreciated, and that's huge. But yeah, employees can be a challenge sometimes for sure, but when you find the right ones, it's well worth it.
For sure. Yeah. Good employees invaluable.
That was a very long-winded answer, as they always are.
Yeah. That's all right. Sometimes they need to be. So.
Yep.
A business grounded in values is more resilient. When you're driven and it's more just about profit, you find the strength to overcome obstacles. Andy, how do you feel about business resiliency built into because of your values?
Yeah, obviously you're going to face challenges, and especially when you first get started, you're going to get a lot of no's because a lot of people don't know what your stuff is, so that resilience is what's going to carry you through ultimately. And if you don't have that built into your existing nature, it's going to be very tough. There was a guy recently that posted in one of the groups, he had gotten to, I think, two full racks, and he was like, oh, I need to hire somebody. This labor is getting to be too much. And I was like, oh boy, this guy is not built for this.
No.
So it's just one of those things. You've got to be willing to put that time in and do the work when it comes down to it. My dishwasher couldn't make it last weekend. Me and my wife are here. We washed all these gazillion trays. It just needs to be done. So it's part of it, and you just have to step up and suck it up. And it's on my Facebook. Literally, my quote on Facebook or whatever is, "There's no time like the present." Because if something needs to get done, and you're the only one that's going to do it,
it's got to get
if
done.
you're not doing it, you're wasting time. Yep. So, yeah, no time like the present.
I agree with that. Right. Alignment with your values encourages a long-term view, leads to decisions that benefit your business sustainability. For example, investing in community projects can pay off the long-term loyalty, branding, and recognition. I know we talked about this a little bit ago about getting out in the community. And any visions that make your business more sustainable?
Yeah, we were hoping to switch to the Pro Mix, to at least get into the organic side of it, which isn't really that much for sustainability. But I wish there were better options out there for that kind of stuff. But as far as packaging and things like that, there's definitely people that will not buy stuff from us because our plastic packaging. Even though it's recyclable, it's just that sustainable thing. But as far as keeping your business sustainable, obviously that's going to be very important as far as how you align everything, because ultimately one really bad decision and it's going to be very tough. That's ultimately why we ended up going all these different roads, to keep it sustainable. And that way we know at least, hey, if one industry goes down for something, we at least have options, to keep it alive on the other side. And just building additional revenue streams like Mike's doing with his lettuce, and the flowers and everything else I'm doing with Farm Flow. Mike's doing with coaching, I'm doing with coaching. Just additional ways to kind of help safeguard the business, because when you get into commercial space, you go out of business or you have a problem, they don't care. That rent payment's due every month for 5 years. You have no choice. So you've got to make damn well sure that when you get in there, you've got what you need to be able to make it happen. Because if not, they're going to take you to court and they're going to win because you signed a paper saying you're going to pay it. So unless you go bankrupt or something like that, it's a different story. But you don't want to do that if you can help it. So yeah,
sure.
Make smart decisions.
Yes, for sure. Value-aligned business contributes to positivity into their community and environment, setting a precedent sustainability successful future. For example, promoting local sustainable agriculture can be ripple effects in our community, health, and environment. And I believe that this is sustainable practices doing indoor farming just because we're not tearing the ground up, and it's something that can continue going. So we use that angle as well. It just doesn't have to be all the sustainable stuff that people think of, and when they think about local farming and stuff like that, because this is sustainable. This is indoors. It's going to be able to be around. You don't need the ground to grow in, and you only got so much ground to grow in. So, Andy, have you noticed any border impacts in your community because of your business?
I know there's a lot more farmers that are considering working with us, which is nice, because obviously they don't have to. They could grow their own microgreens if they wanted to. They have plenty of farmland and plenty of greenhouses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of nice, just as far as just the general community, then reaching out into the actual farming community. And part of that's the community stuff we've done. We speak with a bunch of different other farmers as well, so that way people can get different perspectives on different things. But yeah, it's cool. That's definitely a nice plus to have. the positive impact on the actual community in our area. But I mean, it's, we've created jobs, obviously. We've taught a lot of people about, other local businesses through the shop that we used to have. So at least we help kind of build that local industry to a certain extent. We've created a lot of really good partnerships because of that. So now we have access to all kinds of different people. If we need, local meat or local cheese or yogurts or whatever, we can get them from those folks as a result. So, but the goal was really just to create that community, create that inner circle of, say, hey, you don't have to go to, Walmart or whatever. You can get everything you need right here. There's plenty of people locally that are making the exact same thing that's better quality by far. It's going to be a little more expensive potentially, but, it's definitely a nice thing to have that impact on the community. The people really enjoyed the store. It would have been nice if we had kept it open, but just not enough room.
Yep, you gotta have room, gotta grow. So,
yep.
If you haven't yet, make sure you put in hashtag Thumbcast. That giveaway is coming up in about a minute or two here, so make sure you get that in. And thank you guys all for joining today. In today's episode, we explored how to align your business goals with your personal values. It's just not about growing microgreens. It's about developing a business that is true to your vision and values, one that makes a real impact. Thanks for joining us today in your journey, and we look forward to sharing more insightful on our next episode. So let's open the Q&A session for those who are here live. If you're not, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.